Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about a team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. So yesterday, the team had a joint practice with the San Francisco 49ers. And it got a little chippy, but there was no fights, which is good because I think the coaches want to get a clean practice out there because these joint practices are really good because you get to put your teams into specific situations and you can work on specific things. If you have a position battle, if you have a guy that is on the cusp, if you want to just work on things on your offense or your defense, you can go into specific situations either on one-on-one drills, like a 7-on-7 or full 11-on-11 drills. And it's a good way to kind of pinpoint and separate different things and look at things and evaluate them against players that they don't see every day. So it's a good thing. And I think it's going to be more of a common practice moving forward, especially when the NFL goes to 18 games and you're probably only going to have 2 preseason games. These joint practices are going to be huge. I want to talk about some of the individual performances. I want to talk about some of the position groups, how they fared, some guys that did really well, some guys that maybe did not so good, and also get into some interviews, one with Spytek. There's also a presser with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, maxx Crosby, and Jacobe Meyers. We're going to get to all that. But first, if you guys aren't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and go into the link in the description. It's an easy way to do it. It's free to do, and it really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it if you would. Okay, so first I want to get to look at a couple of standout performances and some important performances of the key players on the team. First off is Geno Smith. Geno Smith actually performed really well. There were some times when he was pressured, and of course, where have you heard this before? When a quarterback is pressured, they're not as effective as when they aren't pressured, right? When they're able to play on time. Duh, right? So he wasn't quite as effective when he was pressured. He wasn't pressured a ton. One of the reasons for this is Nick Bosa didn't participate in practice today, but there was still plenty of guys out there for the Niners. And when Geno Smith did feel some pressure, he wasn't quite as accurate. Overall in the day, he was said to have completed between 60 and 65% of his passes. With things aren't tightened up and maybe he's throwing to some guys that wouldn't be out there normally, that's about right. Overall, he ran the offense really well. No issues with the operation of the offense or anything like that. They used a little bit more motion and things like that as far as movement and identifying certain matchups. Not too much, but a little bit more than they have, especially than they did against the Seahawks. They're not going to show a ton in the game Saturday, I don't believe, because they want to keep everything private. But they did do a little bit more wrinkles as far as the offense goes. Up next is Ashton Jeanty. Now, he did pretty well today. He did much better than he did against Seattle. Part of that is the offensive line played much better. He ripped off a couple of nice runs. One, he broke a tackle. I believe it was Curtis Robinson, the linebacker. He got hit, and he just kind of kept trucking. We've all seen his contact bounce. He showed it there in that play. He showed some burst. He showed some pop. He did get bottled up a couple times by Fred Warner in the passing game, but, dude, Fred Warner bottles everybody up. I wouldn't take that too much into account. I would like to see Ashton Jeanty play a little bit more this Saturday against the Niners just to kind of get a better feel for like the passing game and maybe pass protection and stuff like that. He could definitely be a full 3-down back if we allow him to do that. So definitely some things I want to see a little bit stretched out for him. Maybe not play him a bunch of series, but if he goes, pretty close to 3 and out, go in there and give him the ball a couple more times and let him see what he's got going on. Get him loosened up, make the warm up to the game worth it. Up next, Jacobe Meyers, man. Jacobe Meyers was one of the huge bright spots in the offense. He was torching left and right. He was abusing the linebackers over the middle. He was getting open over the outside against safeties and against corners. Jacobe Meyers was definitely one of the stars of the offense. He's showing that he's improving every single year and even improved from his 1,000-yard season last season to be an even bigger threat. He was performing one of the best guys out there in wide receiver position on 7-on-7 drills, on 4 11-on-11 drills. He was out there. He was pretty much Geno Smith's go-to target through the air. Now, there's also Brock Bowers, who, when he was out there, was just dominant, right? Again, linebackers couldn't touch him. Corners were too small. Safeties were too slow. No one could cover Brock Bowers. Everything thrown to him seemed to be completed, and it just seemed effortless. Brock Bowers out there is just in midseason form, going out there and torching everybody in front of him. Now, on the defensive side, maxx Crosby was a guy that was just on fire. Could not be blocked, always in the backfield, always causing pressures. He had multiple plays that would have been considered sacks, but he had to hold up because he couldn't hit the quarterback. But he was just torching everyone, and everyone they put in front of him, everywhere where Max lined up, he was getting the better of them. So Maxx Crosby definitely is a guy that's showing that he's really ramped up for the season. Also on the other end, Malcolm Koonce was doing a good job of pushing the pocket and created some pressures as well. So the outside guys seem to be playing pretty well against the pass. Speaking of playing in the passing game, Colton Miller came out and had a nice game as well. He gave up no sack-worthy plays on the day. That's what I was told. And it's definitely a bright spot because you need to have your leader at the left tackle play your best when they play other teams. And this is a good opportunity to show what you can do in these joint practices. Now, fortunately, Dante Thornton only had a few snaps. He was hitting the head. He's fine. He's fine. But he was hitting the head, so he kind of got rung a little bit, and he was kept out for precautionary reasons. The team says he's fine, just kind of keeping him out just to keep him safe. It's a joint practice, so why put him out there if he already got dinged up a little bit? But he's fine. He should be good to go Saturday. But yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I kind of wanted to see him perform out there a little bit more. It's good to see a lot of these guys performing out there against other teams and just the team that John Spytek put together as the GM. So right now we're going to take a listen to his live interview directly from the field.
The GM of the Raiders, John Spytek. John, thanks so much for taking some time to be with us. I know Raider Nation is excited as they get to know you a bit more, but take us through some of the process of becoming the GM here and what this entire year has been like transitioning into this role.
It's been great. I've said that a bunch of times. It's been, everything I've wanted it to be. It kind of simultaneously feels like it's been 2 days and 2 years too. It went so fast. It was, January, and here we are halfway through training camp already. We got a nice scrimmage with the Niners today, but it's been great getting to know Pete, getting to know the ownership group here, and just being kind of engrossed in the Raider Nation and the culture here, and getting to sit next to a Hall of Famer right here. It's been awesome.
Not too bad, right?
It's been great. I mean, we're in it now, right? So you go through the free agency process, and you're drafting rookies, but now you are in it. You're steps away from being in the league. What has surprised you about this process as far as being a general manager, having those players on the field, and then seeing that first preseason game?
I don't feel too surprised, to be honest. I mean, I think that's a testament to my last role with Jason Light and the Buccaneers, and how he put me in everything. So I kind of had a feel for how fast it can go, and the roster turnover that has to happen, and the daily transactions that we've got to take, to make sure the team is where it needs to be. So I don't feel too surprised, but there are things that pop up day to day that kind of catch you off guard. But we just problem solve the best we can, and I got a great team around me with Mark Thews and Brian Stark, Anthony Patch, Brandon Hunt, and the whole personnel department upstairs, and really everybody in the whole building. We've been a really healthy team so far, knock on wood, so that's been a really good thing. And, we're excited to see what we do out here today against the Niners.
I know there's a lot of value in these joint practices, especially against a team like the 49ers with two veteran coaches kind of going at it, and then you got the preseason game coming up. What do you look for in these practices specifically? What are you looking for this week that can help you get ready for the season?
Yeah, I mean, we're going against a great organization and what's been a really, really great team over the past 8-9 years since Kyle and John Lynch have been there. And, I'm looking for our guys to come out today and compete hard and not back down from any challenges. It's going to be really hot out here today. It'll be a back and forth. This isn't a game. We're still working on things. We're still evaluating players just like they are. But I don't want to see any of our guys back down. I want to see them take it to us and, talk with our pads and hopefully have a great productive practice.
Yeah. That's been the common theme when you talk to the coaches, of course, and the players, is the competition part about just not football, but specifically about the Raiders and how that's changed this year.
Yeah.
How do you evaluate that as a general manager when you see your players practicing in the preseason game? How do you evaluate if that competition has really worked out in the game setting?
I think you just watch the guys play and how hard are they willing to play. Do they strain? Do they do the extra thing? We're asking our guys to run down the field. We're asking our defense to chase the ball down the field. Just because you're a defensive lineman, the ball goes thrown to the perimeter doesn't mean that you should just be like, oh, the corner and the safety are going to tackle it out there. We're looking for those guys to do that, and the guys that can do it play to play, day to day, week to week are going to be the ones that have a chance around here to be a part of what we're trying to build and to be a part of something great.
Of course, one of the purposes of the preseason is to get the rookies ready for the NFL. And we saw a player like Dante Thornton that you took in the third round really start to stand out. What are you seeing from him, and what do you expect his role to be going into the season?
Well, I don't ever want to expect too much from a rookie, but we're gonna need him to make some plays for us this year, and he's he's a kid that's obviously got a lot of natural gifts in his body. I mean, he's a tall guy that can really run, but I'm sure you watch America, he can really run routes too. He's not just a tall, straight line guy. And, I've just been happy with his work ethic and his growth, and he's getting better every day out here. And, I don't want to say that we're going to have to rely on him for 80 catches and all that. That would be awesome if he did that. But
he just looks like a weapon, though. Just as measurable.
Yeah,
when you run a 4.3 40, he just looks like he could be dangerous.
Yeah, he would know better than me because I've never stood across from a guy like that. But I would think you better be aware of where he is on the field, because otherwise he's going to be standing in your end zone. He's a threat when he walks out there. But we're just looking for consistency from him to get better every day. He's got to develop a rapport with Geno so Geno can trust him. I mean, that's a massive part of any wide receiver's job, is to make sure your quarterback trusts you. It's not just to run deep, it's to run all the routes that you're asked to run. But we've been really encouraged with what he's done so far.
Yeah, obviously, Geno needs to get him the ball. Talk to us a little bit about the quarterback position, that quarterback room. I spoke with Geno last week, and he had some very good things to say about just not his process, but the quarterback room in general. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening with the quarterback room, how you like it, where it is right now, and what you expect for the next for the future.
We've all been very impressed, besides Pete, because Pete knew exactly what he was getting. The rest of us that were getting to know Geno have been really impressed with his work ethic. I was talking to a couple guys yesterday. I've always known he's had a great arm, but when you stand next to him and really feel it, see it and almost hear it, he's really a talented thrower. And then, Aiden's been a guy that's won games as a quarterback in this league. He's a very smart guy. He's competitive. He knows where to go with it. He throws it well. And then Cam Miller's really been stepping up the last couple days too. Yeah, let's not forget that it's not D1 football, but North Dakota State is a big time program.
It is.
He won 2 national championships,
That's right.
and you've got the entire state of North Dakota kind of riding with you on that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure there too. So it's a great group of 3 men that are, they're team first, they're hard workers, and they're competitors, and they're all pushing each other in that room right now in different ways, and it's been a really cool thing to see.
There's no doubt that Pete Carroll has said we want to run the football. You bring in an offensive coordinator like Chip Kelly, who, coming off a national championship with 2 backs that he used early and often, and then you take Ashton Genty in the first round. So I'm sorry, John, but the cat's out of the bag. People know you guys are going to run the ball. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but how much are we going to see Ashton Genty maybe here in this second preseason game? And I also want to know a little bit more about the offensive line, because in that first preseason game, it seems like they're still trying to find their groove. JPJ, I know the idea was maybe he was going to play center earlier in camp or earlier in the off season. Now he's playing guard. Do you see Meredith being more at center?
Yeah, I think we definitely want to run the football. We're not going to hide that from anybody. And the sign of a great running team is when they know you're going to run it and you can still run it on them anyway. And to close games out 4 minutes situations, that's going to be a deal where everyone knows you're running it. And can you run it when they know you're running it? In terms of Ashton, really impressed with the person, the work ethic, the routine, the maturity. He's in here every day early. He's got a whole thing that he goes through with Alex Guerrero and the staff to make sure that his body's feeling good. And I know he's telling everybody he's feeling the best he's felt in a long time. And he's a tremendously talented kid, but he's a hard worker and a competitor. And in general, we love our running back room. We've got 6 guys in there that really have stood out in camp. It's a great group of men. They're great teammates. They're unselfish. They cheer for each other. And, hopefully we get to feature all of them this week. And then in terms of the offensive line, we're just working a bunch of different competitions in there right now and just trying to find the best combination of men in there, too, to make it kind of come to life. And Jordan was a player when I got this job. When I was in Tampa last year and we played the Raiders, he was a guy we really were impressed with. We didn't know a ton about him being in the NFC South to the AFC West, but we were impressed with him. And JPJ's got a lot of talent and a lot of love for this game. And, Alex Kappa's been a player that I've been around for a long time. And Dylan Parham's been a solid player. And we got 2 tackles we like. So we've got some guys we like. We just got to figure out the best combination.
Yeah. On the other side of the ball, I thought Jamal was, just a terrific football player. He comes in and automatically now he's at will linebacker and he's making plays all over the football field. Talk to us about the process of bringing him in and putting him in the box.
Well, I've always been a fan of Jamal going back to his LSU days. He's such a fantastic athlete. I'm always in love with his feet. I think he has such great foot quickness and ability to change directions. And then as his pro career kind of went on, and I'm sure you saw this too, the more he was involved around the line of scrimmage, run, pass, blitz, it was really where he was great. And so Pete, really led by Pete, had the idea, well, maybe we have a couple of different packages where we can kind of feature him at will backer or dime or big nickel. And so he's not asked to play deep. He's asked to play up around the line of scrimmage, the things he's really good at. And Jamal's really embraced that role. He's brought it to life, and you could see it kind of come to life in the first preseason game where he was active and flying around. And he's an infectious personality. He's a diehard competitor, and he embodies a lot of what we're looking to get accomplished here.
The secondary, it was in transition from last year. You brought in veteran players, and you drafted a guy like Darian Porter. Tell me a little bit about the depth and where you feel that unit is, because Pete Carroll has gone to back-to-back Super Bowls, won one with one of the most legendary secondaries of all time. That is, he likes big, long, kind of strong guys. There's a certain prototype. Is that who you guys kind of targeted to go after? You can see it a little bit with the measurables.
Yeah, I can't hide what kind of corners we're looking for. How tall are you? You got a long enough arm.
Bag, yeah.
You can still play for us. But
we're taller than EA.
Yeah, I've been excited about it. Eric Stokes is somebody that I was a fan of coming out when he came out of Georgia. He's a great competitor. He can really run. He's strong. He fits the mold. Obviously, Darian Porter is one of those guys. DCAM has been doing great. I've really been impressed with his growth in this scheme. And then Caillou Kelly's been really kind of shown up. He showed up in the game. He showed up in practice this week. He's worked really hard to grow his game to the next level. He's not afraid to go play nickel and outside. And then the safety position, Jeremy Chin, Isaiah, they're both 6'3". I mean, Chin's 6'3" on the button, and he's the shorter of the two of them. And, losing Lonnie for, a bit of time here, it hurts us. But, we've got some guys in there that have played with Chris Smith and Thomas Harper. And when Lonnie gets back at some point this season, hopefully sooner than later, it'll almost feel like a free agent pickup or a draft pick, because he was doing great. And, it kills me for him, but he was in there today with a smile, and he's already working to get back, and we'll be excited to get him back here sooner than later.
Yeah, I love the coaches in the secondary. I think they do a great job of kind of translating, their experiences and their knowledge onto the players, and you can kind of see that off the field. When they come off, they're all talking together. So every room, it seems like, on this team, has a veteran that's willing to kind of, give himself, put himself in the front of the room and ask questions and really do a good job of that. Is that something necessary for you guys in each room?
They brought some dudes as the secondary coaches. Let's not sleep on who are the secondary coaches. Guys that have done it.
No question. I mean, Joe Woods was a great coach. I was with Joe in Denver when we won the Super Bowl. Yeah. And it was cool when that interview started with Joe and Pete for that. They kind of spoke the same language, even though they had never been together. And to see that kind of come to life. But, player-led teams are always the best. And Pete preaches, togetherness and community and competitiveness. And the best teams are player-led. And to see our veterans step up and embrace the young guys and cheer for them, this is really showing to be an unselfish team right now with the guys that are here. And that's what we're looking for, competitors that are unselfish. And, Pete and I have said it for a while. If you're selfish and you're not a competitor, there just really won't be a lot of room for you in this building and in this organization. And I'm okay with that. I know he is too.
The message was clear from Spytek. Compete, do well, and we're always looking for improvements. It's a not so subtle hint. This team, we're looking to win right now, and we're looking to add anyone that we think can help our team. Look for position groups that are a little shaky, not so much that the position group battle is shaky as far as, like, right now, Jackson Powers Johnson and Meredith as far as center and guard go. But let's say like outside corner, or there's guys on the middle and the inside of the interior defensive line, stuff like that. Like those guys, yeah, if there's still some holes left and they need to fill them, yeah, there's going to be guys out there to be had. And I wouldn't sleep on the Raiders going out there and adding guys late. The message has been very consistent from the very beginning of OTAs and minicamp and all that stuff is we're looking to compete and we're looking to always get better. We're never going to stop trying to get better. So the message is out there, guys, perform or you're not going to be on this team. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take a look at some of the press conferences that we had from Pete Carroll and some of the players that I mentioned earlier as far as how well they're doing on the practice field and in the joint practice today. Also, before we do that, I want to take a quick peek at some of the position battles and some of the position group performances. The offensive line performed much better today. They gave up a few pressures in 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 drills, but ultimately the run game was much better. They got much better push on the defensive line than they did previously. So that seems to be something that's getting a little bit better. So take a look at that going into the game on Saturday, because it's definitely an area that was not good against Seattle. We want to make sure we get that ride that wave that we had in the second half against Seattle and push forward against the 49ers. The wide receivers and tight ends. The wide receivers didn't do all that great. Now, we heard that Dante Thornton only played a few snaps. Trey Tucker had a couple of drops early in practice. He did catch a touchdown later in a red zone drill. But ultimately, it was kind of an up and down day for him. Jacobe Meyers, like I mentioned, was just a stud. Brock Bowers was a stud. No one really else flashed as far as the pass catchers go. Ian Thomas had a big drop, but ultimately, the guys were getting open, so the offense was working, and Geno Smith was hitting them. We just got to do a much better job of securing that rock when it's thrown. Defensive line played much better against the run. They bottled up Christian McCaffrey. Now, granted, the Niners weren't throwing everything at us as far as their game plan and everything goes, but we did much better against the run. Against the pass, not so much. When the 49ers wanted to run the ball, we did a good job of defending it. When they went kind of hurry up in the short passing games and screen games, we didn't do all that great. We need to get much better communication on the middle and the back end to get these guys to come up and fill these gaps. The Niners have one of the better offensive lines for historically under Shanahan. So they know what they're doing as far as, movement and setting up blocks and stuff like that. So it's not surprising that a newer group, especially an all-new linebacking group and a lot of new linemen and a lot of new guys in the secondary, would have trouble communicating to defend some of this short passing and screens and stuff like that. But we just need time to gel. I'm not overly concerned about that right now. I am very encouraged by the fact that we did much better against the run as opposed to how we played, last week against Seattle as far as that goes. So right now, let's go ahead and take a peek at Pete Carroll and the press conference following the joint practice today with the 49ers.
What do you think? Did you get out of today what you were hoping?
Oh, exactly what I was thinking. Heck, I don't have any idea right now. I'm watching offense. I'm watching defense. I got to see the film. I know everybody worked hard. It was great to get against these guys. They're skilled, and they do a lot of cool things scheme-wise. The taxes and help us learn. And so it was a totally positive experience. I thought Kyle did a great job of managing their team, and we tried to do the same so that we didn't get no issues and all that. We avoided all that kind of stuff. So it's just really classy work to get, and we'll make evaluations and figure that out once we get a chance to go watch the film as soon as I leave here.
What happened to Thornton at the he went out?
No, I mean, he felt like he got hit in the head a little bit. They didn't think it was serious, but they needed to just make sure.
Pete, the fact there were no skirmishes to speak of, is that something you addressed prior to this morning? You didn't want your guys getting involved in any extracurriculars?
Yes, that's exactly what we both sides. I know Kyle did the same thing. Want to make sure that that's not part of what we're doing. It's not part of what we come here to do. We come here to play good football and get better. And I think both sides did a great job of showing that.
What did you think of the offensive line up against those guys?
I can't tell you. I haven't seen enough. I mean, I was running back and forth. I can't tell you. I have no evaluation until I see the film.
What are you hoping to see when you get a chance to take a deep dive?
Really good stuff. I mean, we're blowing them off the football, and they can't make an inch. That didn't quite happen. I know that. But I want to see us execute. We try to treat this just like it's the next opportunity that we have and do stuff right, and that was what we set out to do. We'll find out. I thought on defense the perimeter looked kind of available to them. They do that. They're a great perimeter team. We've not prepared for them at all. We got a day to get a little bit better before the ball game.
This is a team that's always well coached, and how good of a challenge is that for you to see a team kind of blindly and be able to react on it?
Robert Saleh and Gus Bradley's over there, and Kyle has done a great job for years and years. They've got a terrific group, and that's only what we would expect from them. They know what they're doing. They have control of their groups. They have style of play that always shows up. So that means they've got a real philosophy in mind and all that. So that's why this is such quality work for us.
He's coached so many great wide receivers, but Jacobe just makes plays every day. He's not a prima donna. Would you talk about how fortunate this team is to have a Jacobe type?
Yeah, he's so sure-handed, so steady, so improvisational that he can get himself open. With he and Brock, it's tough to cover those two guys, and so they complement each other in a great manner. But Jacobe's done a fantastic job. Every day we coming out here, he's making plays.
How much do you play the starters Saturday? You only have 3 opportunities in the preseason.
Everybody's live. Everybody's live.
Caillou Blue Kelly has been making a move, I guess, on the.
I'm glad you noticed it because I'm noticing it too. He's had plays every day for about the last 5 or 6 days out here. Mock game 2. He's just been really active. Seems like he's really settling in, and his aggressive style of play has really shown up. So I'm fired up for him. If you notice, I don't know if it happened today, but yesterday he got work with the ones, and just to see how he fits in and all of that. It's just a great example of a guy competing his butt off and trying to make a statement.
And in his case, he's somebody that kind of started on the third team, and all of a sudden now he's up with the ones. That's sort of what if you show us what we need to see.
You're either competing or you're not. That's what he's doing. He has embraced the thought, and he's battled every day, and he's shown that he deserves more of an opportunity. And so that's all we could ever ask for from our guys.
As you ramp up for Saturday, how much of this practice today, what did you get as a main takeaway from it that you want to carry over to Saturday?
I got to see the film. Okay, I really don't know. But I would say that we want to make sure that things that we didn't do well today, we like to do them well on game day.
Coach, this is kind of a silly question, but San Francisco related. I read in an old article that you once saw Grateful Dead at the Fillmore. Is that true, or have you ever gone to a Grateful Dead concert?
Probably 20 times, yeah.
What do you remember?
They were the second and third and fourth bands back in the day at Avalon Ballroom in Winterland and Fillmore. So we saw them a ton of times.
What kind of question was that?
We've seen him practice a couple times and play in a game, but in your thoughts about it now that you've seen him a little bit more?
He's done really well. Quick learner, just picks stuff up right off the bat. He's right now battling to play a lot. And that means he's going with ones quite a bit. He deserves to. He's already shown that. I'm really excited about our chance to get him here, and he's an amazing kid. I can't wait for you guys to talk to him, to hear from him. He's really something.
In general, why are joint practices so important for you guys compared to the game, which is also important?
Well, what I would tell you is I don't know that they're that pivotal for games. I haven't done it for 14 years. And so last time I did it was when the Jets went against Joe Gibbs at some little college out there on the East Coast. I didn't know what it was. And so it's been a long time. I feel the way we practice is beneficial for us. But I did this because it's Kyle and it's the Niners. And at one time we were thinking about going to Napa. It just sounded like a good idea. Whether we do it again, I don't know. I'll let you know later.
As someone who grew up in the Bay Area, what is this rivalry between the Raiders and Niners mean to you?
Well, it's. Did you grow up in the Bay? You said that like you grew up in the Bay Area also. No, that's not what you meant, though, right? Okay. Yeah. It's always been something. It has always. Since I was 14 or whatever the heck when they got going with the Raiders. My family was Niner fans. Whole family grew up in San Francisco and all that, and so. It's always just been a natural rivalry. I've never had it like the Raiders were the bad guys or the Niners were the bad guys. I like both teams growing up. So to have a chance to do this, it's kind of fun. And to play them in this preseason, kind of fun. I like it.
Story you told them about Bill Russell, how to be a good teammate with each other. Are you starting to see that grow among the team, especially as you have a day like this?
Without question. Yeah, without question. Our awareness of our roles, each person has a role to be a great teammate, and they get to do that on a regular, daily basis. Bill said that he wakes up every morning with the thought of what can he do to help somebody on his team be better. And talking about Havlicek or Kazi or all the guys that he played with, Sam Jones, he was talking about how what could he do to help him play better. And when Bill said that to me, I said, you got to be kidding, man. Come on. My whole team's there, you can't, not every day. He said, every freaking day. And so I challenged my guys from that moment on. If he can do it every day, maybe you can do it a couple times a week, and we'll work our way up to be like Bill.
This is your last practice with fans in the stands. Did you accomplish the goal because we see the connection with those fans and the community you guys?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I wish we had more. I wish we could entertain them more and be out there even more. That connection is just part of this whole experience. They help us play better. We help them cheer more. So there's a synergy there that I've always entrusted in and want to respect and give it back to them. It was great that they're here today.
Good. All right. Thank you. Good stuff from Pete Carroll, man. It is a little bit difficult to answer some of the more specific questions from the media because, he's on the sidelines. He's bouncing between different drills because it's not like, okay, everyone, we're going to do offensive line 1v1 drills. And then that's all they do. No, they're running a ton of drills at the same time. They only come together during the 7-on-7s and then a full 11-on-11s towards the end of the practice. But before that, Pete Carroll's bouncing around. He's not specifically tied to one practice. Kyu Blue Kelly is a guy that we highlighted last week after the game, and he's a guy that's really pushing for some more playing time and maybe playing time with the ones. corners really wide open, man. They didn't play well today. The secondary did not play well today at all. They got beat pretty badly by George Kittle. Got him a few times. It's something that needs to tighten up a little bit. I think in space, the communication needs to get better within the linebackers and the secondary because of the short pass and screen game that San Francisco brought. I can see the Niners really calling a lot of those plays and then going over the top some of the secondary there. So definitely something that the Raiders are going to have to kind of pinpoint and clean up in this next practice before the game on Saturday. All right, next up is Geno Smith. This is his presser following the joint practice with the 49ers. Let's take a peek.
I saw a situation where you went over to Trey, might have been a miscommunication, whatever, drop pass, and you went over to the sideline, talked to him for a second.
Yeah.
Ultimately, right after that, 2 touchdown passes to him. Is that sort of what you're talking about in terms of the leadership and making sure guys are, and that you got their back?
For sure. There's going to be ups and downs in this game. You're never going to be perfect. We strive for perfection, but we're all human. And so, the main thing whenever a guy makes a mistake or, anything happens out there that we don't want to happen, it's about, showing that we have each other's back. And so whenever you can go up to a guy and pat him on the back or, give him a word of encouragement, that's what we're here for. And they do it for me as well. So it's not just a one-way street, it's a two-way street. And, I just want to continue to breathe life into my guys because we got some really, really good players and they work extremely hard. So when they mess up, it's okay. Move on to the next play and keep going.
How good was it that you guys got the long touchdown pass, actually 2 touchdown passes? How good was it that that reward was there?
Man, it's great to score touchdowns, right? We want to score touchdowns, and I think obviously, there's some things that we can improve on. There's a lot of things that we left out there, things that we have to get better at. But overall, man, I thought I was very pleased with how we competed today, and I thought, like you said, man, we hit some long touchdowns, and we got some plays, on their guys. We were all competing, and it felt really good to see that.
Everyone knew, you're a quality good quarterback. That's a fact. But your leadership every single time you've been on the field, from OTAs to mini camps to today, has shown through. Do you think maybe that was an underrated part of your game, is that you're an exceptional leader?
Honestly, I don't know. I try to do my best to not pay attention to the noise or the outside noise. But, my goal is to be here for my guys. I don't really need the recognition or anything like that. As long as I'm here for my guys and they know that I got their back and that, I'm going to go through it with them. I'm not the guy who's just going to say, hey, you guys need to be working hard. No, I want to set the example and set the tone. And so, I don't know if I'm underrated or overrated. It doesn't really matter to me. I just focus on what I can control, which is being there for my guys.
You've been pushing the ball down the field, even starting training camp, and obviously sometimes you're just going to have to take what the defense gives you. But what do you think about the big play potential of this offense?
We want to strike. We want to be able to have a big play offense, and we have the weapons to do so. But it's about, like you said, taking what the defense gives me, understanding situations. Every time isn't a chance to go for the long ball. There's situations in the game where you got to just manage the game and check it down if you need to. But when we can strike and we can put points on the board, no matter if it's a 10-play drive or a 1-play drive, it's about getting points on the board. And I'm going to, push the envelope as much as I can. If they want to come up and give us, deep shots, we got the guys that'll run past them. And so we just got to make the right reads, make the right plays. And when we play right, we're a really good team.
It seemed like the offensive line held up pretty well today. What do you think about it?
Got to watch the film. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that we can improve on, but I felt really good back there. I felt like I had, a lot of time to go through my reads and was getting to the backside on some reads and even getting to the 4th and 5th, option on some things. So I thought they did a great job. Always tough when you got to compete against another opponent, especially in this heat. But I thought we came out, we competed, and overall we got better.
That's a defense you know pretty well. I've dealt with them over the years. How beneficial is it operationally for your offense to go against a top-level defense like that?
It's super beneficial, man. I'm so happy we did that, and big shout out to the 49ers for coming out. It's hot, and they had to travel, and it's not easy on those guys. But I love the way Fred and those guys compete. He's one of the top linebackers in the game, so going head against him, I've been doing that for the last couple of years. But I feel like it always makes you better, and so for us to see a different opponent, some guys who haven't seen our offense for 8 or 9 weeks, just to see how we look against those guys, I thought we did some things really well. But also we can get a lot better as well.
Geno wasn't the big what he's done here with the full 16 play. What did you see from that when you got to Seattle with him?
Yeah, it's been Pete's been the same guy, every day since I met him, and I think That's what makes him special. He's super energetic. I don't know how he does it, but like the guy wakes up, like it seems like he just pops out of the bed, man. He's just fired up as soon as he wakes up. And I mean, he brings the juice every single day. When you have a leader like that at the helm, you have no choice but to fall in line. And so all of us, as leaders on the team and every single guy on the team, we're following Coach's lead, and he's doing a great job of leading us.
Last couple of days of practice, you've really been focused on getting the deep ball out to Trey and Deontay, but how good is it to have like consistent with Jacobe Meyers in the inside, kind of opening things up right there in Brock Bowers?
Yeah, I think it all works together. We want to make sure that all of our entire offense has to work together. And so, yeah, I mean, we've hit on some deep balls. We've also missed on some that I thought we should have had, but those are things that we can improve on. And then, for me, it's always about being efficient. You want to be efficient. I want to be a high completion percentage guy. I want to make sure that we're efficient on third downs and in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. So we got to make the right plays, and we got to take what they give us, but we also got to push it. And so I think we're doing a good job at that, but long ways to go. We got to keep being better.
You and Brock have built a really good rapport, but there was one throw today where you put it in a tight window and he made an amazing catch, and you hooted about him. Do you every day just think, man, thank God he's on my team?
Yeah, all these guys, man. Like Brock's the thing about Brock, he's an extremely hard worker. And when you have guys like that who are that talented, but the work ethic match the talent, the sky's always the limit. And so I think we have a lot of guys like that. I think about Mike when I think about guys like that, Trey and Jacoby, and just really solid dudes, man, just great people, and then outstanding athletes as well. Thank God I'm here. I feel really good about it.
Geno, from your vantage point.
Sorry, I missed it.
You talked about the importance of guys knowing you have their back. Were there guys early in your career that you felt like had your back and that stand out to you?
Yeah, a lot of guys. Snacks Harrison, Damon Harrison. I think Nino, Quandre Diggs, Jamal Adams, Russell Wilson. I mean, a lot of guys, man, who, really gave me the confidence that I needed. And so, I feel like it's my job to try to do the same thing and, really set the tone in that regard.
Geno, from your vantage point, what happened with the fan in the tunnel in Seattle?
With all due respect, man, that was last week. I'm moving on and focus on this week.
How much does a practice like this, gave you ahead of the preseason game and stepping into Allegiant for week 2?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think the whole thing about preseason training camp is to learn and grow through experiences, and so we have to take the next step, and that next step is our first real game in our home stadium, and we want to set the tone. We want to come in and be fired up and have our fans, Raider Nation. We want everybody to be fired up and be excited about what we're doing, and so this is the step in that direction. In this first game, we'll learn a lot about ourselves, and that's what it's for. Is to continue to improve, continue to push ourselves, find ways to get better.
Obviously, this was your rival team for you for the last few years. Any moments out there today where you could feel that rivalry coming back?
Man, anytime I step out there and I got 54 on the other side, I know what he brings to the table. I know the type of competitor he is. I know the type of player he is. And so whenever Fred's out there, we're going head to head. I feel like it feels like, the same games we were playing when I was in Seattle, man. It's just always the best on best. And I know he's going to have his guys ready. He knows I'm going to have my guys ready. And, may the best man win.
Ashton Jeanty made some plays today. What have you seen from his growth so far in camp?
I think Ashton, today he made a play. I won't mention it, but it was something we did yesterday, and he was like, we didn't really get it right. And then today he came out, we got it perfect. And I thought, man, we took a big jump just from yesterday to today. And to see that from a rookie player, he learns and he grows with every single experience. I think that's something that's going to make him so much of a great player because he's getting better by day. And so I thought Ashton did a great job as always, but he definitely took another step and another jump today.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
You just see the leadership just dripping off of Geno Smith. He didn't want to single out any players for anything bad. When the media wanted to focus on Brock Bowers is this, and Brock Bowers like, yeah, he's really good, and I appreciate him, and I think he's amazing. But we also have other guys too, and he brings other guys in. And this is just a guy that knows what he's doing, and I think he's very genuine in that. He's got a lot of weapons out there. I think this offense and Chip Kelly is going to be. We're not going to see anything close to what we're going to see in the regular season in preseason. Just know that right now. Anything that we do, it's going to be little bits and pieces, but not the whole thing put together. And you kind of see that twinkle in his eye when he talks about, I don't want to give away too much because we're going to do some pretty innovative stuff. I just see Chip Kelly going out there and using all the weapons that he has to their best potential. Geno Smith, like I said, had a nice day today. And I'm really eager for the regular season to start because I want to see this offense go. This offense has a lot of promises, a lot of nice players on it. And I just want everything to start gelling together so we can get out there and just start going, scoring some points. Another standout from the joint practice today was Maxx Crosby. He was all over the place. I was reading some Niners talk and some Niners guys, some Niners beat writers, and they're like, dude, Maxx Crosby is a wrecker. He's out there, and they're like having to just roll the plays the other way because he's killing them, and that's not likely. That's not common in joint practices when you have to flip plays because of a player is just ruining your practice because you can't get anything done really. But Maxx Crosby was doing that today. So let's listen to what he had to say following the joint practice.
Max, how much progress do you feel like you guys made today, finally being able to go against another team?
I think it was, another great day of practice. We've been meshing together as a team, building the culture and building who we are and our identity on a daily basis. So getting to do that against somebody else is a lot of fun. Competing against somebody else, doing it all together was definitely a good time. So, a lot of amount of respect for Coach Shanahan, those guys. Coach, obviously the GM, John Lynch, a lot of great people over there. But it was great to get out there and, get after him a little bit.
Reception, that's most complex offensive in the league. How tough does it make that as a defensive player to sort of be reading and reacting?
Yeah, honestly, it's really just your approach has got to be the same. Like, you can't go into it second guessing. You can't be guessing out there. You know what I mean? You got to just read your keys and go. Every time you play somebody, it's every week is going to be different in this league. So you got to be able to have a lot of things in your toolbox that you can pull out at certain times. And when you're playing against a scheme like that, Coach Shanahan definitely makes it difficult, for defenses. So it makes you better. And so you got to go out there and compete at the highest level and, just continue to build your armor.
You guys have rotated Thomas, Jonah, Tank, all those guys up front quite a bit. What have you seen from those guys and how they've stepped up so far?
Yeah, they're fighting every single day to get those reps. And, I got a ton of amount of respect for them. They're competing head on. In practice, everyone's fighting for those reps. And in reality, it's open competition. And, Booker, he's come in and, he's been flying since day one. I freaking enjoy going to war with him. Obviously, Adam Butler, Jonah, all those guys, they're young, they got fresh legs, and it's been fun to start building that chemistry up. It started back in OTAs, and now getting Booker in here, we're working every day trying to get it right. So it's been good.
Something noticeable has been Tyree Wilson moving in at times, sometimes on pass rush situations. Can you just talk about how meaningful he can be in those kind of situations and the type of progress he's made from when he's first come in to now? Yeah,
he's getting better and better, and his approach is. Work ethic, everything is, continued to improve since he's gotten here. So, yeah, he's a guy I feel like, since day one, I've taken under my wing. I've given him some tough love, but, I want the best for him, and I want him to be the best version of himself, and that's my, duty as a leader. And, me and him have gotten real close. I just want him to continue going in that direction. There's going to be adversity, there's going to be ups and downs, but you just got to keep going up. And that's what I feel like he's doing, and, the more you can do, the better. So him rushing inside, outside, he's going to have an opportunity to help us for sure.
Saw you chopping it up quite a bit with Trent Williams, and looks like there's just a lot of respect there. And it didn't look like you guys got a chance to go up against each other today, but just talk about the respect between great players.
Yeah, he didn't go in the team, any of the team stuff. So unfortunately, I didn't get to go against him. I was looking forward to it, but he's somebody I respect at the highest level. He's 37 years old. Dude's gonna be a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? And those are the type of guys that I try to learn as much as I possibly can from. He's got so much knowledge about the game. He's such a good dude, but he's a legitimate competitor, and those are the guys I like to learn from and just be around. And when you're out there, you start talking your shit and you're going back and forth. Those are the guys that make you better. And that's a guy, like I said, got so much respect for. So me and him, we chop it up every time we're around each other. We have great conversations and just, have great back and forth because he knows what I want. I know what he's chasing, and I know what he's trying to accomplish. So, yeah, man, I respect that dude. I could go on and on about that dude. I respect him so much.
Coach Carroll,
Yeah, it's the first preseason game. There's no excuses. It's got to be better. We know that. But, yeah, it's the first time with live bullets. So, yeah, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Practice, thudding up and stuff like that is one thing. But going out and really tackling and emphasizing that in practice is impossible. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's definitely something we got to improve on. And we've been focused on it all week. And I feel like it's going to be a lot better moving forward.
What do you say to some of the guys, when you're trying to get the morale up after seeing some of the tackling that happened in the last game?
Yeah, I mean, that's a part of the game. You know what I mean? There's always going to be ups and downs. And, especially in your first real game in 8-9 months, that's just a part of it. So, yeah, I know it's something people have been talking about, and it is what it is. Everyone's always got something to say. You got to go out there and get better, and that's all we're focused on.
What's the biggest thing you try and take out of these joint practices?
You said what? Sorry.
What's the biggest thing you try and take out of these joint practices?
Honestly, it's just like new looks. Like you're getting a completely different look. Like in camp, you're going against the same guy or same guys every single day in the same scheme for 3-4 weeks straight, and then you get to go against somebody else, and you're like, oh shit, like this is a little bit different. You know what I mean? So it's always good. It's a different challenge, and I feel like it's anything. Like it's every week in the NFL, like you said, you're going against a different scheme and a different coach, and you got a different type of approach when it comes to how I play. Like I know I'm going to get attention and chips and slides, things like that. So I love getting a challenge like that. Like Coach Shanahan earlier in practice, I felt like kind of let me be alone for a little bit, and I was doing my thing, and then as the practice went on, it made it a little more difficult, and I love that because that's what it's going to be like. I know that's the respect I've earned in this league, and that's a part of the respect factor that goes into it. So yeah, it was a great day though. It was a lot of fun. We got better, and I feel like as the day went on, we got better and better.
Max, what's your earliest memory of encountering Pete Carroll? Like whether it was recently or when you were a kid or just
Yeah, I definitely respected him from afar. Just seeing the energy he brought on the field, you see like true joy with his teams. Like he brings it, of course, but you just see his teams out there playing free and flying around. And then my first personal encounter with him was when he came here on a visit. I was in the building. I was like grabbing a snack after a workout or something, and I seen him walk in. I think it was with a couple of people from the front office and stuff, and I was like, I got to go say what's up to him. That's Pete Carroll. You know what I mean? He was in on an interview, so I went up to him and just introduced myself, and we were just going back and forth, like, literally just like breaking balls, talking shit back to each other. I was talking about his suit. I was like, hey, you might need to get a little bit smaller suit. That one might be outdated. And he's like, he's not the one that's like gonna stand down from that. He came right back at me and was talking shit. I'm like, yeah, this is my type of guy. You know what I mean? Those are the type of coaches you love, that are not too sensitive, anything like that. Like Coach Carroll is all about that. He's all about the culture and bringing everyone together. And he's like, he feels like he's one of the guys. Like he wants to be out on the field and playing with us. He's wearing gloves in practice. He's flying around, running around. So it's just ultimate respect. Pete has been so cool since he's been here, and he's a culture setter. He's a tone setter, and he's helped me in so many ways, just as a player and as a leader.
You said that Brock Purdy is expected to play on Saturday. Same thing with some of the starters. Does that elevate the motivation to be like, hey, we're going against ones that put some good stuff out there?
Yeah, I don't even know what my status is on a personal level. I don't know what we're doing. But yeah, like it's preseason, it's different. It's hard to explain. Like you get one drive and then you got to sit there, like you're getting warmed up and then you sit the rest of the game. So I have my fair share of opinions about it, but it is what it is. It's part of the game, and anytime I get to go on the field and compete against the best, like that's all that matters. So whether it's a drive or a couple drives, I'm not sure I'll be ready. But yeah, it's cool going against, you want to go out there and go against the ones and play against the best dudes.
Last time you talked to us, you talked about your high school battles with Jamal Adams, but now It's been a few weeks and he's been with the team. Can you evaluate his transition to linebacker and what he has to that room so far, just what you see?
Yeah, honestly, just like his energy is definitely contagious. But it's crazy the fact that he's just transitioned to linebacker. It looks natural to him. He's just a natural football player. Like anywhere you put him on the field, I feel like he's gonna help your defense. So yeah, he's a guy I got so much respect for, and every day he brings the same juice, and that's all you can ask for. You know what I mean? He's definitely motivated. He's inspired. He inspires others, and he's a guy you want on the field with you.
Talk about a lot of guys who are rotating in on that D-line with you guys. Young guy Tonka has kind of got mixed in here and there. What has he shown you recently?
Yeah, Tonka I'm probably one of the highest dudes about Tonka. Like every time I talk about him, I got nothing good things to say because he's super quiet, but he's starting to finally like break out of his shell a little bit. But his play speaks for itself. I mean, he's getting better and better every day. He's twitchy, he's strong, he's got moves. He uses his moves in team and in one-on-ones and things like that, and he just continues to get better. So I think Tonka is going to be a guy he's going to be in the rotation, is going to help us a lot.
You went from empty stands in Costa Mesa last year to now fans packing them here in Las Vegas. How much of a difference does that make for you guys, having the motivation from Raider Nation day in and day out, making noise for big plays?
Yeah, I love it. You know what I mean? The fans are what makes this, makes the sport so special. You know what I mean? Without them, it wouldn't be anything. And, people dedicate their whole lives being fans. You know what I mean? People, there's some people out here in Vegas that got their whole driveway and freaking the walls on the side of their house like murals of myself, and somebody's sending it to me, and it's like, you don't realize the impact you make, sometimes. And, just seeing stuff like that is like, it inspires you to even go harder. You know what I mean? Because people are really spending their hard-earned money on jerseys and tickets and showing up on a daily basis, showing up on I don't even know what day it is. What day is it? Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, coming here on a weekday, showing up and showing out bright and early, standing out here for hours cheering us on. You can't have nothing but love and respect for those fans that come out. And it's not just out in Vegas. Obviously, our Vegas fan base has continuously been growing, but all the way in Oakland, LA, that's Oakland, the Raider fans are literally all over the world, and got so much love for him.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Man, they had a ton of questions for Max. He was up there for a long time. You kind of seen at the end of that, he was kind of getting a little like, yo, man, can I go back inside now? Like, what's going on here? But good insight. He's really focusing on the overall as far as the joint practice goes, how to just compete against someone new and really kind of see where you are and where you stand, because ultimately you go against your own guys and it just kind of gets kind of boring after a while. You want to go against someone new. Maxx Crosby's a leader out there. He's pushing his guys to get better. He's getting better every single week. Let's see how much he plays. He talked about having one series and wanting to play a little bit more, and I can see that, but I can also see them wanting to mix in a bunch of other guys too, to see what they have in these other guys, because what you're going to get from Maxx Crosby every day, and even every single practice, every single warm-up session, every single walkthrough, every single game, you're going to get the exact same thing from Maxx Crosby, 100% maximum effort, and that's what he gave you, regardless of what he does. He sat there and he answered every question thoughtfully, and it's it's just a refreshing to see a guy who's a superstar who acts that way, and he's a model for the rest of the guys on the team. Speaking of a model for the rest of the guys on the team, we have a model for the wide receiver group in Jacobe Meyers. He had a great day today when it came to the joint practice against the Niners. Let's see what he had to say about the practice against the Niners today.
What's going on, y'all? What's up, y'all?
All right, questions for Jacobe?
Geno looked pretty efficient today. Is that kind of your read on it?
Yeah, I would say so. Most days I feel like Geno looked pretty efficient. It's a blessing to be playing with him. Just watching him do his work, we trying to match his efficiency for real.
How do you feel the growth has been in the chemistry, the communication between you, Geno, and also some of the other wide receivers?
Yeah, I feel like slow and steady would be the best way to push it. Like, we kind of need those mistakes to happen now. We need the good things to happen now so we could kind of remember them, lock them in, and execute it when that time comes. So.
What looked like a couple of drops, he was either a little hard on himself and down, and Geno went over and tapped him up, and then he had a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah.
What was your viewpoint of that interaction and what Geno's done in that regard?
I understand it. I understand why Trey would be hard on himself. He's one of the best ones we got, honestly. I think he's a great player, and he know he could be great. So when he doesn't kind of live up to that, sometimes he's tough on himself. But Geno got his back. We got his back. We know what he's going to do for us, and we know what Geno going to do for us. So I'm just happy to see them boys working it out, figuring it out. Mm-hmm.
What's your general takeaway how it went today? Just for the whole offense.
I missed it. What was it?
For the whole offense, what's your general takeaway how it went today?
It was some good. It was some bad. I feel like we finished strong. Like, regardless of what happened, we all kind of came out here with a mentality to finish through the day, and I think we did that pretty well. So.
You've been through several different coordinators now.
Yeah.
We had a couple different wide receiver coaches here. Just in terms of growth, learning, all of what Chip Kelly has to make this offense. How has that curve been for you since you've been here with the Raiders?
Anytime it's changed, I feel like it's a little uncomfortable, but I've been trying to embrace it with open arms, different terminology, different strategy, but it's been cool to just learn more football, so I've been enjoying it.
A couple of young guys in here, like John Spytek. You see the next topic a lot.
Yeah.
What do they bring to the wide receiver?
I mean, young but definitely mature guys. Those are two guys who really know the game of football, understand how it works, and they tough too, quietly tough. So I think they perfect for the room as far as just the mentality we want to have on the field.
I mean, Geno's just 34, which is pretty young for a quarterback.
Mm.
He seems based on we see here. I mean, he could be here a good while. Quarterback. How much would you like to be a part of his time here with the Raiders?
As much as they want me here. You know what I mean? That's really all I can say about that one. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, short and sweet from Jacobe Meyers. Not really much to say as far as that goes. He's a really quiet guy, very straightforward, doesn't really elaborate a lot, which is fine. He really elaborates a lot on the field, which is way more important than doing it in press conferences. So overall, it was, I think, an improvement at the joint practice. Some of the things that we need to see a little bit better, we got better at. Some of the things that are kind of more team specific, we need to work on the short passing game and covering screens and stuff like that. We need to get that second and third levels a little bit into more communication to be able to really knife in there and stop those plays before they even start. We need to get the defensive line on those plays to be able to be a little bit quicker to recognize and chase down. These are things that can come over time when you're game planning for a specific opponent. Just having a team come in and run their plays on you when it's not something you practice every day can be a little bit dicey. But overall, I think it was a good day for us. We saw some improvement in the run game, saw some improvement stopping the run. There was a little bit of a step back from what I heard and what I read in the secondary, but that's something we can clean up moving forward into the game. That's going to be tomorrow. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free to do. And it's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel, besides doing absolutely nothing, just watching the video. Guys, keep doing what you're doing, man. We're trucking along. Second preseason game is coming up. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. Be ready for the post-game show live. I'm going to do a live post-game show following the game on Saturday. See what we got going on. Hope you guys tune in and enjoy that. But until then, I want to make sure everyone, please tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest and going to Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.